control of the issue. It is control of how the money is being transferred and who can get access to the system and who can't. Uh, it's just a different form, but I think it's the same routine, same plan.
Yeah,
And
but I mean,
I
don't
don't think they're going to embrace Bitcoin
you don't think
because
so? I
I
mean,
don't think no,
I think
I don't.
I think well, first of all, I think they're smarter than we give them credit for. Um, I don't think that the reason why they fuck things up so badly is necessarily a product of them being stupid. Um, I don't think that. I just think it's a product of you just can't manage an economy in a centralized way. It's always going to fail, no matter how smart you are. But I do think they are pretty smart and smart enough to realize that you know Bitcoin might be the answer for them. And if you had the ability to purchase unlimited or to produce unlimited fiat money, wouldn't you use that to acquire Bitcoin? This new thing. And I mean, why not? What's the risk, right? You can produce unlimited units of fiat. There's no risk in doing that to acquire
No,
Bitcoin. So I
well,
just don't see the downside of that. And then it protects them from, you know, the potential negative effects, right? Because if you think of it as like an insurance policy on their own policies, right? If things get out of control for them, then Bitcoin, um, you know, would explode in value, essentially. So you can think of it as an insurance policy. And obviously, nobody can insure the Federal Reserve except for
no,
Bitcoin, except for Bitcoin. So,
it's like if you look at the things, you could even go and say they could print an infinite amount of money, buying up all the Bitcoin supply, and then locking into a closet and never let people get access to it again. If they really wanted to kill it, you cannot kill Bitcoin. The technology cannot be killed, but if you can print infinite amount of money, it doesn't cost you anything. You could print those money you need to buy up all the supply at whatever price, and then just lock it in and basically removing it from the world. It's like sucking up all the liquidity in the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? If you really wanted to kill it, I think
well,
that's the easy way. I think.
well, it's really not that simple because you can't just buy all the Bitcoin in the world. At a certain point, there is none left. You know, um, and that's a very real supply constraint. Even if you have unlimited fiat money, right?
I
Um,
mean, the only obstacle you might find is that there will be people which are not willing to sell it, right?
yeah, there's a lot of people, especially as the fiat, because if you were to do that obviously you'd want to have a more discrete accumulation operation, which I believe, and I have reason to believe it is occurring right now. I mean, if you're smart enough, right? Think of how many central bankers there are. And
Yeah.
these guys, it's a problem that they've spent their whole careers thinking about. They're not idiots. They have
No.
access to unlimited money. I'm sure some of them are running discrete operations right now, right? They're not
I
going to
think
come out
so.
and say, hey, we've been running this operation for X amount of time until there's really no supply left on the market.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what? For the last 10 years, we have been telling you that it was a scam, it was going to zero. But in the meantime, we were accumulating like crazy, and now we own a lot of it, and all of a sudden it becomes legit. You know what? Just because now we have, let's say, half of the supply, right?
Yeah,
But it could be a play for them. Like if you think about that, if they know, because they know if they're doing it, they know if they're going to inflate the currency, and they want to kind of guarantee themselves an edge over the same operation on the currencies they're doing, it would be buying out assets like gold, Bitcoin, real estate, right? So at that point, you kind of get the same effect that every wealthy people in the world usually usually do. I mean, you got a lot of money. Okay, you're rich. You got wealth. What do? I mean, you're not keeping all your money in the banking account because they're just losing purchasing power. So you can just go there, buying a bunch of assets, because if you know that if the currency is debasing itself, you're buying assets which on the other side are going to appreciate it themselves. And what you can do is actually, somehow going short the currency, because you are taking out loans, you're taking in debt, because the debt that you're going to repay tomorrow, those money are going to be worth less than what what is really the value when you are taking out the loan, right? And then in the meantime, the assets you purchase with those money that you took out as a loan, those assets are going to appreciate in value. So for for the wealthy people, the debt, it is actually a good play, because they're betting against the currency and they're basically buying up all the other assets in the world. If you look at what companies like BlackRock, what they're doing, they're basically buying up all real estate, because real estate is something that, I mean, everyone will always need a house, a roof, right? If I buy up all the supply in the real estate market, at a point, if you need a house, you're gonna buy it from me, and then I set the price. Hey, it's fucked up, but it could be, right.
Yeah, well, I think what they're doing is, there's it's a situation where, you know, for all intents and purposes, the supply of fiat money is unlimited, right?
Yeah,
And um, the supply of real tangible assets is not limited. It's bound by reality. And
exactly.
so, in an environment of unlimited money, fiat money, companies like BlackRock are going way out on the curve, right? Just buying homes that it makes no sense to invest in real estate or a home as an investment vehicle if you just think about it objectively, because homes go down in value over time, right? They become older, they need
Yeah,
repairs, and they just, in real value, they decline over time. Now it's separate from property or land in an area like Manhattan where it's valuable. I'm just talking about like a home itself. The fact that people are investing in homes um, as an investment is a sign of like how far along we are, right? And BlackRock,
yeah,
BlackRock is they're close to the fiat money spigot. They have a very close relationship with the Federal Reserve. They were the ones who ran the mortgage-backed securities purchase program for the Fed
yeah,
and the Treasury security purchase program during the COVID pandemic. And
exactly. So
yeah, uh,
I mean, it's not like, if you think about that, at a point, if these, you know, debacle of the fiat currency system, just keep talking about homes. At a point, if if you if you buy up all the supply in the real estate and you set the price so high that no one can afford a home, I mean, like buying it, whatever it is, paying it in cash or taking out loans or mortgage, but you can say, you know what, I don't have buyers for these homes, but people will need a roof above their head anyway, so I can just rent them. And even there, I can set the price. It is a tool of control anyway.
yeah. I mean, do you think? I got to think that at a certain point, though, people will just simply not be able to afford homes, and at that point, price will need to find the buyer, right? You have a situation where um, most real estate is owned by boomers, right? And boomers are getting older, so
They're
they're
gonna
gonna,
die.
they're gonna, and there's another principle in the market that's like, well, the market not only moves based on the numbers of buyers of sellers, but the conviction of those buyers and sellers, right? If somebody's entering the market with a lot of conviction, right, and hitting the market like with huge market orders,
Yeah, it's
it,
like Mark Douglas teaches, right?
exactly. And what I was gonna say was like, there's no seller with more conviction in the housing market than uh, children who are liquidating the estate of their parents. that,
Yeah,
that,
I mean, the demographic factor plays out. Yes.
yeah, they are going to liquidate that asset with more conviction than anybody you've ever seen.
Yeah, because maybe given the current times, they don't have a stable job, they don't have a stable income, and they're gonna need money. And on the other side, there will be a bunch of people like them, and even if they want to liquidate those assets, they're not gonna find buyers because the other people around are in the same conditions same as they are, and they got no money to buy those houses at those higher prices. So you know the market's gonna seek buyers down, and the price is gonna collapse in the housing market.
Yeah, what'll probably happen is that yeah, price will collapse a little bit, but I still think they'll remain unaffordable, and then you'll have a situation like you can't just have BlackRock buying up every apartment in the country and renting it, right? The government will step in and make sure that there's a mortgage market because they represent these giant banks who are involved in the mortgage market. So they'll probably step in and start guaranteeing mortgages just to pump up the market, which
Also,
obviously
because
will
if you
obviously
look at the if you look at the MBAs, they are a big chunk of what the commercial banking system is still using as a collateral. So
yeah, yeah, that's
I mean, for better or worse, but they are still doing it, right?
yeah, it's a little crazy actually if you think about it.
At the end of the day, what happened during the subprime crisis was just that. There was a ton of banks full to the brim on their balance sheets with these mortgage-backed securities, and at a point, those mortgages they went. I mean, they were worthless. Their balance sheet, they taken a haircut really really deeply, and the bank was in bankruptcy.
Yeah, man, I actually know a few people. I know somebody who worked. He like managed the equities derivatives section of J.P. Morgan during '08,
Yeah.
and I remember talking to him and asking him like, "Do do you did people realize what was going on at the time?" And he claimed that they didn't, right? And
Hmm.
that they didn't. I mean, who knows? I mean, a lot of people think that they did and that they were committing fraud. Um, I tend to believe that. I don't necessarily think if you were committing fraud, you would necessarily say you were, but
No.
you know, your knee jerk reaction would probably be to be like, no, 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 that wasn't, no, that didn't
Yeah, of
happen.
course. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Nah, I gotta go. It's kind of late in here, right?
All right, man. Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by, and I'm sure we'll chat
Yeah,
soon.
sure. Yeah, no problem, man. My pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too. To the next time.